My name is Arielle and welcome back to my channel. As most of you know, 2020 was supposed to be the year that I thru-hiked the Pacific Crest Trail, but with current world events, it's looking less and less likely every day. Now, my official start date is still a few weeks away, but where I live, we have shelter-in-place orders in place until beyond that date. So even if I am able to get out on the trail this year, it's definitely not going to be on my start date. And as I look forward on the trail to the sections that I would come into, as of right now, there's so much of the trail closed, and it would be pretty irresponsible to hit the trail in the current state. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in the couple weeks to come. However, I want to be able to have a real attempt at the thru hike, and there are sections of the trail right now that are supposedly even saying that they're going to be closed until September 30th. So realistically, 2020 may not be the year. However, with that being said, I have done a ton of prep. I have been planning for the PCT. Well, I first decided I was going to hike the PCT probably 8 or 9 years ago. I went to college in Lake Tahoe, and the PCT goes straight through there. And then I have been like officially hitting the ground running with planning, like real true planning, permits, gear, that sort of thing, as of the end of last summer. The most requested video that I've ever gotten from all of you is about my gear. What am I bringing on the PCT, and my food. So today's video is to quench your thirst for that knowledge, and just to let you know, I don't have absolutely everything in perfect order as to what I was going to bring or what I was going to send for myself as food. The month of April was going to be my month to pack all of my food boxes and everything like that, but with current world events and just like my wanting to wait and see what happens, I haven't started building those official boxes, which is probably for the best because like I said, I probably wouldn't be using them this year anyways. But I want to show you what I have to get started, what I've been thinking, and yeah, the gear that I have to get out there, whether it's this year or more likely next year. So without further ado, let's jump in. Okay, first and foremost, I want to talk about food. So there are a lot of options when it comes to food when you're doing a thru hike. You don't actually have to do any prep or send yourself any packages. You could totally just resupply along the way, unless you have some dietary restrictions. And I am not crazy picky these days. I've definitely been through the ringer as far as disordered eating and things like that, and I've really kind of come out the other side and try to take as many rules off of the way that I approach food as possible. However, with that being said, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition a little over a year ago. There's a whole video on that if that's something that interests you, and I'm also happy to talk more about that if that's something you want to learn a little more about. Especially because I find that a lot of people with the condition that I have, which is Hashimoto's hypothyroid, tend to feel like they wouldn't be able to do something like this, and I've really found some massive relief through lifestyle things. One of those lifestyle things was going gluten-free. So for me, it's really important to make sure that I can complete this thru hike with being able to avoid gluten. And I also really like to eat like organic and as much whole food as possible. So with that being said, I was planning on sending myself pretty much all of my food. This is not including like snacks, so my plan was to resupply along the way, you know, stocking up on fresher things like avocados and apples here and there, as well as bars and maybe some salami and things of that nature. But what I do want to show you is what I was planning for like my main meals. So I want to start by talking about my friends over at Wild Zora. So my first backpacking trip that I went on after getting diagnosed with Hashimoto's and having to make that switch to going gluten-free, I went into like an outdoor retailer store and I'm looking around trying to find some backpacking food that I can actually eat. And I stumbled across this brand called Wild Zora that actually made paleo backpacking food. So not only is it gluten-free, but it's actually like grain-free, which is really, really cool. And so I decided I was on a 3-day backpacking trip, actually on the PCT, just a small section just outside of Lake Tahoe in Desolation Wilderness. In fact, I'm wearing my PCT hat right now that is still kind of like sweat soaked from that adventure. I don't know, maybe it's gross to put this on with clean hair, but just makes me like get so excited about the venture. Anyways, back on topic, Arielle. So I tried their food, and basically I ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner of this brand. And after that experience, when I was starting to plan what my food was going to be like for the trail, I made a connection with my good friends over at Wild Zora, and just let them know that I was going to head out on this adventure, and that like I really, really loved what they were up to. Turns out they're a local Colorado brand. So they have sent me some things to support me food-wise on some of the trail, and I actually haven't had a chance to open these boxes yet. I have an idea of what's in them. However, with that being said, let's open them together. It's probably backwards, but basically it just says, hello, best of luck on your PCT adventure from the Wild Zora team. We are so honored to be a part of your adventure. Ah, this makes me so happy. Okay, so this box is full of breakfast. There's 3 different flavors of breakfast. The top one is called Butte, and it's cacao and banana. They also have a pineapple and mango, and it's basically like a flaxseed, coconut milk, pecan kind of mango type thing. And then I think this was my favorite one. Yeah, Cliffside coconut berry. And again, it's flaxseed, coconut, berries, strawberries, all that jazz. It's super, super yummy. And I'll probably like, I don't know, there's 500 calories per packet. I could see myself doubling up on them, because even though they have a lot of calories, like I feel like they're compact calories and you can really pack them in, which is, I know that that might sound counterintuitive if you've never done a thru hike, but like you really have to get the calories in, especially later down the trail when you're like doing 20 miles or plus a day. You're gonna need to be consuming like 4, 5, 6,000 calories every single day. So the more you can get in, the better, and especially like good quality calories. So like I said, these are all flaxseed, it's organic, coconut, blueberries, and not only is it just gluten-free, it's actually grain-free as well, which is awesome, and no added sugar. Okay, and in this box, we kind of have like lunch/dinner options. My guess is these will be more like dinner. This one is Summit Savory Chicken, and so it's free-range chicken, organic spinach, broccoli, mushrooms, and again, there's no grains or anything like that. Calorie-wise, that has about 350 calories, so my plan was to make sure that I hiked with some olive oil so that I could really make these calorically dense by making this and then pouring in probably quite a bit of olive oil to pack in the calories. But again, I just love that it's just packed with like whole food organic vegetables, because this is something that's pretty limited in most of the other food that you're gonna be experiencing out there on the trail. And so yeah, I was super excited to find this option. And I have already tested out this and the breakfast on a couple different adventures, and I know that I love it. So I'm super excited about that. All right, the other flavor in here is mountain beef stew, and it has grass-fed beef, organic carrots, kale, broccoli, and mushrooms. Yeah. And then this was just like a fun little miscellaneous box that they sent me, and it has like some wild fruit snacks, Wild Zora fruit snacks, so real fruit, just dehydrated, no sugar or preservatives, and then meat and veggie bars, also like gluten-free and all that jazz. So just some fun snacks to add into the mix. Like I said, I know that I'm for sure gonna eat food that has like sugar and things in them, but as much as possible, I want to get some real quality food in me. I know that people hit the PCT and use it as like the junk food tour of America, but I know personally that I don't feel my best when I eat like that. And so I definitely want to try to get in, yes, as much calories as possible, but also as much nutrients as possible first, before I start packing in things that are just like basically pure sugar and everything like that. I don't know, I've been told by a lot of people that that mentality changes once you get out there. So I'm definitely open to the possibility that my ideas might shift. But as of right now, I'm super excited to start out with like a base of real good quality food. All right, so although there's a lot of food in these boxes, my plan was to be out on the trail from anywhere from 4 to 5 months. So I was planning to supplement all of my Wild Zora meals with some homemade backpacking meals. And I was actually really excited to get creative. I will be so stoked when I actually start to build these. So I bought myself a vacuum sealer, which I of course have not opened yet, and vacuum seal bags so that I could make my own little pods. And what I was excited about with that is that with the vacuum seal pods, they would be really small and compact, which makes it a lot easier to pack. And all the food that I bought to mess around with is all freeze dried, so it's super, super, super light. And then, like I said, from there you add in some olive oil to add in the calories, but that way you're getting both like the micronutrients and the macronutrients. I am not totally grain-free, so even though I am super excited to have the grain-free option, these ones would have like quinoa or like instant quinoa or instant rice in them. And I was planning on making basically pods that have like similar base ingredients in it, but they would have different flavorings. So I was thinking kind of like a burrito bowl type flavor with some taco spice, maybe some like Thai curry spice. I don't know. I was planning on getting creative. So what I had in this, and this again is not enough for the whole trail. My plan was to do my first round of pods, see how it went, and then from there judge how much more food I needed to order. But it is a pretty good start. So I have freeze-dried sweet potatoes and kale and more sweet potatoes. This was gonna be kind of my staple because I love them. And carbs are good for hiking. Air-dried broccoli, which I feel like, yeah, we'll see how that goes. It kind of looks more like kale than broccoli. But this is why you gotta order this stuff to see what it's gonna end up being like, to test it out, try it out. So those are kind of like the big base things that I got. I got some instant brown rice and instant quinoa somewhere in here. Oh yeah, here. And so I could combine like instant quinoa or instant rice with the freeze-dried sweet potatoes and the broccoli and the kale and make these little pods and then put whatever flavoring I want in there. And then basically like dump it into my cooking container with some boiling hot water and let it close, like seal, and it will just rehydrate itself. And then to add in calories, of course, I can add in the olive oil. So that's really the base of like the main meals that I had, but I also got some, what do you call it? Like freeze-dried fruit to make kind of fancier oatmeal. So I got freeze-dried blueberries, bananas, and then a giant bag of strawberries somewhere in here. One, organic strawberries. So I was gonna like supplement my wild Dora breakfast with some like instant oatmeal deliciousness type breakfast as well. All right, so now I want to show you the gear that I have so far. It's most of the gear I'll need for the PCT, but what I want to say is that it's in no way organized, so it's not at all how I would pack it. Some of the things are still in the packaging, and basically I just shoved everything into this so that it would all be in one place when I needed it. So one of the main questions I've gotten asked many different times is what shoes I'm gonna have. I've done a bunch of research based on like my type of foot and what people are liking out there on the trail, and bought myself the Brooks Cascadia. I have skinny feet, and so this was, as far as my research showed, one of the best shoes for people who have skinny feet. Now I know a lot of you are gonna be surprised that I'm not rocking hiking boots, but most PCT hikers don't actually rock hiking boots. Because it just gets too hot in there, which gives you more of a chance for blisters, as well as like kind of like trench foot from getting hot and sweaty in there, especially if your boots are Gore-Tex. And on the PCT, a lot of the times you're passing over like creek crossings and things like that, and so you want a shoe that's gonna dry super fast. So I just took the little gaiter off so you could see what it looked like. Haven't worn them yet. I should probably go take them out on a test run here. I mean, I guess, who knows, maybe it doesn't matter. Anyways, the socks I had to put, I just shoved in here, and these are just like really nice, low, thin hiking or running socks without any cushion in them. And then some little gaiters. The brand is called Dirty Girl Gaiters. I thought they were really fun. So yeah, I got some bright, flashy ones. I also got some glittery pink ones. We'll see which ones end up making it out on the trail. Okay, so first I'm just gonna take everything out, and then I wanna show you all the things. Okay, so first things first is my pack. I am rocking a Hyperlight 55-liter pack that has all the mesh stuff. I think the model is the 2500, might be the 1500. Anyways, you just look up the 55 liter one that has like the mesh in the front, and that will be the right one. I think this weighs like 2 pounds or less. So super, super light. It still has a little bit of structure to it, but not too much, just some like little structuring in the back, and it still has the waist belt with some pockets. I've heard from a lot of people will cut this kind of stuff off, but I would like to keep it on at first and then see what happens once I get on the trail. I, of course, ordered a small frame because I am a small human. Okay, so the next is my sleep system, which I will actually like set up for you here in a second. I haven't set it up yet, so this will be really exciting for me to see what it all actually looks like in action. So I have the Nemo Hornet 2-person tent. And again, this thing weighs it's about 2 pounds. Obviously, I don't have all of the exacts with me right now, but I know that this is about 2 pounds. My sleeping bag is about 2 pounds, and the backpack is about 2 pounds. So all in all, it's pretty dang light, much lighter than my old setup. So I'm excited to like put this together and show you what this one looks like, because like I said, haven't built it yet. And then the sleeping bag is the Disco 15 degrees, also from Nemo Equipment. And I've heard from a lot of people that it can be kind of hot out there, but I tend to run really cold, especially at night. And so I would rather err on the side of having a warmer sleeping bag than the other way around. And weight-wise, it wasn't all that much different. I don't know, we'll see once we're out there, but like I said, I tend to get really cold, so 15 degrees seems like a good option. Right, so the next couple things are so that I sleep really well at night, and I love the brand Nemo Equipment. It just makes everything like so light so that you can have some luxury like this. So I have a blow up pillow. It weighs basically nothing, and I feel like this will help so much. It's super soft. So I'm excited to have that in my sleep kit. And then this is my sleeping pad, and like, look at how small this is. It's crazy. It is inflatable, and so it's just something like you have to be kind of mindful that you're not setting it up on anything that will puncture it. But at the same time, when you're sleeping for 4.5 months in the woods, it's nice to have a little bit more cushion. So I've done a bunch of backpacking with the Z-Lite, which is like that foldable, like open cell foam pad, which is super light. However, truth be told, I never really sleep all that well on it, so I'm excited to have something a little bit nicer. And then I don't have much of my clothing here. I just have a couple of things, but these bags here are basically just dividers that are made for my backpack from the same brand of Hyperlite that I could put like clothing or food in so that it would sit and store well in the backpack itself. The only clothing that I feel like I have set out here is, this is a Micro Puffy. It's super light. It does pack down smaller than this. This just is how it packs into its own zipper. And then I have my rain jacket here. A lot of my other clothes, I was still kind of in the process of sorting out exactly what I wanted. This shirt is actually what I was planning on hiking, probably hiking a lot of the desert in. So I didn't quite finalize that, but like I said, with everything looking the way that it's looking, it's okay, and I haven't felt any rush to like try to figure it out because I have pretty much all the other pieces. For water filtration, right now I have the Sawyer Mini. This seems to be the favorite, and I've actually used this type of water filter for the last maybe 5 years or so, and yeah, and I love it. It's super easy, it's really small, and I've never gotten sick, so stoked on that. Sorry, I had to change the angle on you. The sun has been creeping across the screen, and it was like directly on the lens. But continuing where we were, the couple last pieces I have here. This is my first aid kit. I will likely take a bunch of stuff out of this and kind of customize it. It's already really light, but there's definitely stuff in here that I don't need. And yes, it's important to have a first aid kit when you're out on the trail. However, it is also like unnecessary to have excessive amounts of first aid. So just the basics. I have my Jetboil, and I know some of you are gonna have something to say about this. I do have a Whisper Light, which is a much smaller and lighter cook stove, but the idea of how long that bad boy takes to make water, I think would drive me like totally nuts after 4.5 months. So the last camping trip I went on with two of my girlfriends, one of them had a Jetboil like this, and then I had the Whisper Light. It took me 20 minutes to boil water, and it took her 2 minutes. And so yes, it does weigh a little bit more, But to me, for 4.5 months, I feel like that convenience will be worth it. I'll give you an update on like if that ends up being the case. But yeah, as of right now, I'm feeling like this will be worth it. So funny because this is like actually really muddy from my last thing, but it's a little trowel and it basically weighs nothing. So part of Leave No Trace is you have to make sure you dig 6-inch cat holes for when you go to the bathroom. Don't worry, that is not actually poop. It is just some dirt. Probably should clean it. Looks kind of gross. Maybe it just adds character though. Can't believe I almost forgot this. It wasn't in my backpack. This was in my computer drawer because I still need to get it all set up. However, I have my Garmin InReach Mini, which is basically a satellite communication device that is hopefully only to be used for like an SOS emergency situation. But yeah, basically this allows me to send my loved ones messages that I am okay, that I am safe, and then it allows me to send like an SOS blast if something were to happen. It's very tiny and it's lightweight, so I feel like this is a really, really key thing to have in your pack, at least somebody in your hiking group, just to be safe out there in the wilderness. So I have that, and then the last couple things that I have out is my GoPro. This will be my main camera for shooting out there. I also have a GoPro 360 cam, the GoPro Max, which I'm so tempted to bring, but I don't know. We'll see where the extra weight feels worth it and where it doesn't feel worth it. But this bad boy is my favorite, and so I will definitely bring this. And then last but not least is my permit. This kind of makes me sad, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, so it's still possible that I can use this permit. It would allow me to, if I don't start on my start date, I could still start at like mile 1,000 something and use this permit. And then I'd have to get 4 separate permits for the upper section. But like I said, you guys, I don't know. I just don't know if it's worth, like, if most of the trail isn't even open and you're having to jump around and skip sections. And, you know, I don't know about you, but I would feel a little bit weird about picking up hitchhikers after, like, all of this, even if we were to go back to our normal life. So I feel like it's probably going to be next year. But anyways, here's my permit, and then my Canada entry permit, which would have allowed me to walk across the border into Canada. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hard to film this video and not get sad. I mean, like I've said in previous videos, I can't express how grateful I am to be healthy, to be safe, to have a home and all of that during these wild and crazy times. But yeah, like looking around at all this stuff and all this preparation and all this time and energy I put into planning for this, yeah. But you know what, like I said earlier, there's always next year, and like even though I was really hoping to hike the PCT before I turned 30, hiking it at 30 years old is going to be amazing as well. So I think I'm just going to end this video by setting up my tent and giving you guys a little tour here in my kitchen, and yeah, I'll see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, whether I hit the PCT this summer or not. I plan to take you all on all of my adventures, and stay tuned next week. I have something special coming for you. So peep over to my Instagram and I'll have a little bit of announcement for, yeah, next week's video. It's gonna be a little different. So I'll see you then.